how's everybody doing today? Today I wanted to talk about doing the scary things. Today on my timeline, a picture from 10 years ago popped up, and it was a picture of me in Italy on a gondola with my gondolier, Matteo. And to some, this might be like, okay, what's the big deal about this? But for me, it was an extremely big deal because I went to Italy all by myself. I had always wanted to go to Italy my whole life. I had always dreamed about, like, when I was a kid, being little, going to Venice and riding a gondola, and I just thought it was going to be the greatest thing ever. And I had got my passport. I asked everybody, who wants to go? Who wants to go? Nobody wanted to go, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let this passport expire and not have any stamps in it. I'm going to go. So I booked my ticket, and I actually did it with a travel agency, Gate One Travel, and they picked me up at the airport, and we were supposed to go to Venice, and then from Venice we went to Pisa and Lucca, and then Florence, Assisi, and then Rome, and then we were going to fly from Rome back to New York. And I remember, like, I was so excited because this is something that I always wanted to do. I wanted to do it my whole life. I dreamed about it. But I was going to go by myself. And I'm like, okay, it's one thing if you're in the United States, but if you're in a different country in a language that you don't speak, like, what happens if nobody shows up at the airport to pick me up? Or what if I get to the hotel and I can't get down to Rome? Like, what if something happens and I can't get to my flight to get back home? And I was a little nervous about this, so I decided I'm going to learn Italian. So I studied and studied for months and months trying to get ready to go on this trip. And I was like, I have to make sure I know how to say, can I get to my hotel? And can I get to Rome? And I also wanted to know how to say, where's the bathroom? That was like my biggest thing. But I studied for months and months. And I'm like, wow, I got this. I'm learning this language. I know this language. And I remember when we went to Venice, and when we got there, like, it was pretty awesome because even though it was with the travel group, like, a half of the day you would go and do like sightseeing, and then the other half you got to kind of roam around and do whatever you want. And sometimes I would go with people that were in the tour group with us. I'd go out with them somewhere, or one time I went out with the guide. He took me to a restaurant in Florence that was like back in the cut away from everybody, which was pretty awesome. And we, like, the owner of the restaurant came out and took limoncello shots with us and stuff, so that was pretty cool. But I was in Venice, and I was like, you know what? Before I leave, I'm doing this gondolier ride, and it was awesome because they set it up nice for us. There was 2 gondolas that were in our little partition or whatever, or not partition, but there was like 2 different groups of us. There was me and 2 other girls on the one I was on, and they actually had a third one following us around, playing the I want to say the accordion. He was playing the accordion. They gave us champagne. So we're riding around in Venice, shipping champagne, listening to him play the accordion. And it was like I was in heaven. Like, you couldn't tell me anything at that moment. Like, I will always remember Matteo. Nothing will ever make me or let me forget that moment, because that was literally a moment that I dreamed of my whole entire life. And so we do that. We go and we do a whole bunch of different stuff while we're there. We go to Assisi, and we're going to have not Assisi, sorry, Lucca. We go to Lucca, and we have a lunch at a farm, and they have like wine there. We are doing a wine tasting, and then we have lunch, and then they raise grapes there. So they're telling us about grapes, or grow grapes, excuse me. So they're telling us all about the grapes and everything, and we go outside, and the lady that lives at this farm, she wasn't a part of the tasting or anything, but she was outside. So I walk up to her, and I'm like, "Parli Italiano," and I like start talking to her a little bit, and then she looks at me and just blah, 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 and I'm like, oh my God, I thought I knew Italian. This is the funny thing about learning a language. You will think you know a couple words, and you're like, "Ooh, I can speak the language." And then when somebody starts speaking to you, you realize how much you don't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I get myself into? And I just kind of smiled at her and nodded, and she like said some more stuff, and I did not understand anything she was saying. So I was more careful. I would only try to talk to people in restaurants because after that, because people in restaurants, they're trying to learn their English too. So it was a little bit easier to try to talk to them. But it was an amazing experience. And the thing about it was it was something that I wanted to do, but it was so scary to get on a plane, travel 8 hours to somewhere you've never been, all by yourself. You don't know what the language is. You don't know how it's going to be when you get there. You know, you can think you know what an area is going to be like until you actually get to it, and who knows what's going to happen, you know? So it was very scary going over there, but it was, I would do it over and over again because it was that amazing. It was the most amazing thing I ever experienced. Like, I really want to be able to go and travel like that all around. And I want to be able to take my kids to places like that and do stuff like that too, because the scary part of it outweighs, the risk, or the reward outweighs the risk. It's such an amazing feeling to know that you've done something that you really wanted to do. And this kind of goes along with anything that you want to do, whether it's traveling or, I don't know, whatever it is that you have on your mind that you're like, man, I want to do it, but it's so scary. I'm so scared. I don't even know how to do it. What am I going to do if it doesn't work out? Don't worry about that. Just start putting things in motion, and it is going to work out the way that it's supposed to. And it's going to be, most of the time, it's going to turn out so much better than you could have ever imagined. Because I'm telling you what, even though I had dreamed about Italy, like, it blew my mind because it was so much better than I could have ever imagined. It was just amazing. But so that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you back tomorrow.